We are here with today's Kamadhan discussion, and I think we have some reflection reports. So just mention the number of reports and move on.
Avasara Bhante, we have received 8 reports today. Report number 1, sitting meditation. Primary object, breath. How I noted the primary object. At first I could count, note, 1 or 2 breathing cycles in and out. My mind invaded with thoughts, storytelling. I felt sad towards myself for the things happening which I cannot control. People disturbed me, grouped together and planning to destroy my career enhancements, telling abusive words to hurt me. Even though I have not disturbed others, I feel low sometimes. Later, I could see the thoughts without feeling sad towards myself. But I could focus on my breath for 1 to 2 cycles. Walking meditation. Primary object, feel the sensations on the feet. At first, my focus was on environment, the trees and other yogis. But later, could feel the sensation of feet and I could focus on lifting the leg and placing. After 30 minutes of walking meditation, I started sitting meditation. It was better than in the morning. I could focus on breathe in, breathe out. I could focus on 5 to 6 cycles, but this time, sometimes my thoughts were about Arahants, how they continuously meditate and became Arahant. But my thoughts were about Mara, whether he disturbs my meditation, I felt scared. Thero.
Okay, so walking and sitting practice, it is fine. You know where to keep your attention and you can observe that object at least for a couple of breaths, at least for a couple of steps, you can observe that primary object. And these are the thoughts. Some of them are related to your personal problems. Some of them are related to Dhamma. Those type of thoughts arise. Now regarding the things about your personal problems. So this is the real world that we live in. Although you haven't done anything wrong to them, they will chase you, they will try to get certain things out of you. So such behaviors are there. So when you face such behaviors, in a way, it's an encounter with the reality of this world. Maybe we haven't felt it before, and now only we are experiencing it. So when you encounter with the reality of this world, it is an encouragement for you to find a lasting peace. That's what you have to focus on. These type of behaviors you can't really control. And time to time we meet with such people, what to do, right? So what you can do is, you can create inner peace. You have to make sure that you continue your practice and as a result you will be able to face such situations much better. They will do certain things, but you will be unharmed because your strength is there, your mind is strong. That ability we can develop. In this modern terms, it is called resilience. Buddha's word is bhavita chittang. Bhavita chittang. Right? What is the idea of resilience? The problems come. The issues happen. Your mind get deformed due to these problems. But you have the ability to recover much faster. That's the very idea. So if you want to deal with this world successfully, you have to improve the resilience of your mind. You have to train your mind, bhavita chittang, a trained mind. That's what Buddha is saying. So when you improve the training, when you improve the resilience, what happens is that the worldly matters come. Sometimes you feel sorry, sometimes you feel angry, sometimes you worry about things. Those things happen. But you are able to recover much faster. That's the very idea. Earlier, maybe it took few weeks for you to recover. Now you will recover within couple of days, right? The same cycle continues, but you recover much faster. So if you improve that ability, then it doesn't matter what other people do. It doesn't matter what happens in the world. You are able to encounter them, you are able to navigate them much better. That's the very idea. If you talk about arahants, don't think that they don't feel anything. They don't experience anything. That's not the case. Instead, they are experiencing. They are feeling, they are dealing with other people, they are dealing with worldly matters. But their resilience is much high. Whatever happens, they can recover much faster. Sometimes you make mistakes, but you can forgive yourself. That's also important, right? Forgiving yourself, it's not easy sometimes. Some people, they continue for many years cursing them, blaming them for something that was out of their control even. If it was intentional, you can take some responsibility. Some of them, it was out of their control. But still they end up blaming them, cursing them for many years. So they don't have the ability to forgive themselves. Forget about forgiving other people, but forgiving oneself is important. So when you improve that quality, you can see you make mistakes. Sometimes the precepts are broken. Sometimes certain addictions are there. But you are able to forgive yourself and you are able to move on. That very ability, that very strength will be improved. So if you have that strength, then you realize whatever you do, it doesn't matter. Whatever the people that you encounter, it doesn't matter. Whatever the bad experiences that you have to go through, it doesn't matter. You are able to recover much faster. That's the real quality. So by doing this practice, in a way we are training ourselves to recover. Thoughts come, your mind get deformed. But again, once again, you let go of those thoughts and come to the present moment. Time after time you do this training, and that's a training on resilience. You improve the quality of returning to the normal. You improve the quality of returning to the present moment. And when you train like that for many years, you realize even family problems, some people hurting you, or you making your own mistakes, all these things happen. But your recovery is much faster. Earlier it took maybe couple of weeks, couple of months for you to recover. Now you recover within couple of days or couple of weeks. Right? So that ability will be improved. So train it and you will see the difference in dealing with other people and things.
Report number 2. Walking meditation. Started by focusing on right leg and left leg. Observation. In a little while, a happy feeling came as I am practicing walking meditation. This happened yesterday. Today, while walking, got an unhappy feeling. It gave a sort of discomfort as I am stuck in one place, like not going anywhere. Couldn't figure it out properly. Then moved to sitting meditation. Focused on the breath. The sad feeling remained, but after a while the sad feeling disappeared and felt the lightness of breath. Bhante, can you kindly advise? Thank you.
Now, when the happiness comes, you can clearly see there is this attachment towards it. Right? We like to feel happy. We encourage that type of thoughts. But when the sadness comes, when the unhappiness comes, do you feel like there is attraction towards them? What do you think? Unhappiness, let's say. Happiness, of course you are attracted to that. Unhappiness, when such thoughts come, you want to get rid of it, right? But although you want to get rid of it, in a way you are still attached to that. That's why you are trying to get rid of it. Right? So you can see, even our problems, we give value to them. Right? Whatever the unhappy feelings that we get, it's us who gives value to those things. Right? So you have to understand, whether it's happiness or unhappiness, we give value to them. We make them our problems. We make them our happiness. We make them our unhappiness. So that's the behavior of this mind. And when you understand that, you are able to observe it much better. let the happiness be and observe how you are trying to revisit that feeling time after time. And let the unhappiness be and observe how you are trying to get rid of that feeling time after time. Even the problems, you identify with them, you give value to them, right? Let's say some of the problems that you have in your life, maybe some family problems, problems at work, you assign value to them. And without them, you don't feel whole. You feel like some part is missing, right? What's the part that's missing? The problems, right? Ourself, we create, including those things. The problems, it's part of us. The opinions, thoughts, it's part of us. The happy things, sad things, it's part of us. So all of these things create the self. So when you go do this training, when you try to transcend the self, you have to realize you have to transcend all your problems, happy things, sad things, all your opinions, thoughts, the ways of thinking. So all those things you have to transcend in this practice. So when such things come, let them be. Don't try to get rid of them. It's an opportunity for you to meditate. Notice how you encourage or how you revisit this happy feeling time after time. Notice how you try to suppress or get rid of this sad or unhappy feeling time after time. That very observation will allow you to let go of this attachment towards them. Whether it's happiness or unhappiness, you have certain attachment towards them. Your problems, you have certain attachment towards them. The people that you even hate, you have certain attachment towards them. That's why they bother you so much, right? That's why maybe there's a saying that says there's a thin line between love and hate, right? You hate someone, in a way you assign value to them. You make them a part of your life, right? So those things come, it's an opportunity for you to observe. Most people, they only want to get rid of the sad part, unhappy part. They don't want to meditate with the good thoughts. The happy moments, they want to enjoy it. Only when it comes to sad things, they try to meditate. Right? We want to keep the happy part and get rid of the sad part only. That's not going to work. It's like two sides of the same coin. Right? So if you want to get rid of things, you have to meditate. Either it's happy feelings, you have to meditate. Either it's unhappy feelings, you have to meditate. How to meditate? Simply observe this process. You have done it, right? Let them come time after time and simply go through that observation. And when you go through that observation, when you observe them mindfully, you realize you reduce the attachment towards them. Earlier you encouraged these processes. Earlier, due to probably unmindfulness, you keep encouraging them. But now, by being mindful, you refrain from that encouragement. Whether it's happiness or unhappiness, you used to encourage. By being mindful, you are simply become the observer. Right? So that quality you can develop and improve. And these things are good opportunities for you to practice like that.
Report number 3, most respected Bhante. Sitting practice. Observe the warmness, heaviness of the breath. After few minutes, observe the prominent nostril for breathing. Beginning, changing and disappearance of the breath. Inhale and exhale separately observed. Time to time, mind get distracted but able to continue the practice. Walking practice. Observe the beginning, changing and disappearing of element characteristics like roughness, toughness, warmness, etc. Expect your kind advice.
Okay, so the object, you can see different shades and shapes of it. Right? You can see the beginning, middle and end of the object. And more you get close to observing the breath, more you get close to observing the steps, you could see slight details. You could observe the entire process from beginning to the end. That ability will improve. Sometimes breath feels heavy, sometimes it feels light. Sometimes breath feels inward, inside your body, sometimes it feels outward. Right? So there are those type of different shades and shapes will appear. Most people, they think that they want to hunt for these shades and shapes. Right? They go looking for them. That's not how it works. Buddha says there are 11 shades and shapes of the object. What we can do is we can simply observe what is appearing, what is prominent. If it feels like heavy, then you observe that. You don't have to go search for something else. If it feels normal, then you observe that. If it feels light, you observe that. That way only you have to continue this observation. Right? So in your report, you can see a lot of such details are obvious. So that's a good sign. The breath is changing, you are noticing that change. So keep on observing and see where this change is leading you. The object is changing. The primary object is changing. That's a good teaching that's there. Right? So you can observe the change and see where this changing breath is leading you. If it is a beginner, if we ask them, is the breath changing? They will say, no, Bhante, the breath was constant for the entire session. That's basically the ignorance talking. When you have ignorance, you say that the object isn't changing. You don't see it properly. But when you start to see the change, we encourage you to see whether there is a change in the breath. We encourage you to see whether there is a change in the steps. When we encourage you to see the change becomes more and more rapid. Right? And maybe first it takes like 30-40 minutes to start seeing the change. But when you get used to see the change, you can see from the beginning the breath is changing. And it is changing so rapidly. So you can see little by little you are seeing the true nature of this world. There are no two similar breaths. But our ignorance says that it is constant. The world is rapidly changing. Other people are changing. Their opinions, thoughts are changing. But our ignorance will fight, trying to hold on to the same person. That's what family matters are about. You know, they say 20 years ago you were so lovely, you were this person, but now you have changed. Right? The complaints from the spouses. Right? But that's the reality. Everyone is changing. Maybe for the better, maybe for the worse, but it is the process. That's why they say you can't jump into the same river twice. Right? What happens? You take a picture, you say, I jumped into the same river twice. But when you jump in the second time, it's not the same river. The water has changed. The surrounding has changed. How about the person jumping? Is he the same? No. He also changes. Right? The body is changing. It says that within 7 years, your entire body will be replaced. All the organs and everything. Within 7 years, it will be replaced. Right? So there is this rapid change in the body. Some organs are changing faster, some organs are changing slower. Right? Within 7 years, the entire body will be replaced. Right? The body is changing. So the person who is jumping for the second time, it's not the same body. How about the mind? Buddha says, you can at least say that the body stays the same for like couple of years. Right? When you go in front of the mirror, you can see the same person for like few years even. But the mind is so rapidly changing. He's saying it is appearing as one thing, disappearing as something else. That rapid. So Buddha says you can say this body, you can identify it as self. That is somewhat reasonable. But he says it is not reasonable to identify the mind as self. That rapidly changing mind we have. Sometimes you feel sad, sometimes you are happy. Who are you? Sometimes you like a person, sometimes you hate them. Who are you? Right? Who is the real you? Right? Sometimes you prefer meditating, sometimes you hate it. Right? Who is the real person? All those thoughts, opinions, they are rapidly changing. In order to understand the truth in this world, you have to see this change. That's the very practice, that's the very idea.
Report number 4, Thero Saranai, the most venerable Bhante. Trying to be mindful while doing day-to-day work. Able to keep the attention and maintain it on the task when brushing teeth and bathing, etc. The bodily activities. When doing domestic work such as sweeping and cutting things with the knife, the attention shifts automatically to the breath. I am very comfortable with that. I have been meditating for the last 10 years, but just 1 hour in the morning. Time to time I have attended the retreats at Mithrigal and Kalalgoda, but was not a regular yogi due to the busy schedules at work. I have now retired 8 months from long years of busy and stressful work. Tried to fill up the time vacuum by engaging into the mindful work at home. There are periods of feeling of being very lonely, usually in the evenings. No distractions at home, within brackets TV, tabs and children, etc. So I decided to embrace the situation face to face by becoming mindful to the situation. After a while, it was very hard and unsuccessful. So, as remedies, I do brisk walking in the garden while chanting Itipiso Bhagava aloud and play Sudoku puzzles. Greatly appreciate your valuable advice on these issues. Theruvan Saranai.
Sudoku puzzles are nice. Yeah. It's a nice hobby, yes. Now, let's say you have been practicing for 10 years now. So that's the plus sign here, right? You didn't wait till you retire. Most people, they are really busy, they are occupied, they wait till they retire. And what happens when they retire? Most of them are usually depressed, right? Why? They have been so busy. They don't know solitude. They don't know how to, simply be. So they have been working, raising children, earning money for decades, and suddenly they don't have anything to do. So that's a very good, easy way to become depressed, right? So research about people retiring, most of them have this issue, right? But now, in your case, your advantage is you have been practicing this for a long time. Even 1 hour daily for 10 years, it's a huge investment, right? So you have been practicing this for a long time. You have identified solitude. You have experienced solitude, at least a little. So that helps you to deal with this. That helps you to deal with this. And when you realize that you are relaxed, you have nothing much to do, you can feel this loneliness or the void inside you, right? And most people, they hate it. Even our topic, it's about aloneness or loneliness, right? Today's, this retreat's discussion or the desana, it's about solitude. So most people, the worldly people, they don't like this. They say, I'm lonely. I don't like it. I need somebody else's company. I need some other activity to do. Right? But this practice, we say, welcome that loneliness, welcome that void, welcome that empty feeling. Dive into that feeling, dive into that void. And if you develop the ability to do it, if you embrace it, then we say it's no longer lonely. Instead, it is aloneness. Right? There's a difference. Lonely is a negative kind of a feeling. Aloneness is like a lion. You are able to withstand your own thoughts, emotions. So this is a great opportunity for you to develop your practice to the next level. Don't do anything. Simply dive into this void. Simply dive into this feeling. If you can do that, then that's the real practice. Right? Becoming a monk, that's the whole process of becoming a monk. You're occupied, you do so many things. Right? And getting into the monastery, giving up all the work, you replace them with some work there, like sweeping and doing meditation, those type of things. Then preparing for becoming a monk. You prepare robes, you study, you learn, all those things are there. Then after becoming a monk, you will say higher ordination. I will study for my higher ordination, work towards that. Then you get higher ordination. Then what else to do? Right? Nothing else to do. But most of us, we can't embrace this void, this feeling. We find other ways, we find different ways to avoid it. Right? But the truth is that if you want to develop your practice, if you want to finish this in this life itself, you have to dive into that void. You have to dive into that aloneness or the feeling. Right? That ability you have to improve. Time to time you can use certain distractions like Sudoku or something else. But sooner or later you have to deal with it. That's the very idea. Right? That's why even last time I mentioned, at least once in your lifetime, you should go to a retreat for like 3-4 months even. Right? If you spend such time alone in a retreat kind of environment, then you get to see many more sides and shapes of you. There are so many things hidden under this busyness. So many different layers are there underneath. When you do these type of like 3-4 day retreat, they don't even come to the surface. It's like the chorus matters, the outside matters. You deal with daily problems, family problems, all those things. But deep within our mind, we have much greater things to discover. They won't be always pleasing to encounter. It's not a happy or pleasing process, but you have to go through these experiences. Being in this type of environment for such a long time, you could realize so many things about yourself. It's the noble experiment. That's why it's called as noble experiment. You discover yourself. You discover your childhood trauma probably. You discover certain emotions that are stuck in you. You discover certain addictions kind of things in you. You discover how to be alone without distracting yourself. All those discoveries could be done when you go into such a long retreat only. Otherwise, it's just simply touching the surface. I remember one time there was this German guy. He was probably like 40 years old, and he was a psychiatrist by profession. And he came a few times, and the final time he stayed for like 6-7 months continuously. And this fellow he's the mind doctor, no? He's coming as asking us, Bhante, I have this extreme sorrow kind of a feeling. I feel like crying, I feel like breaking down. Why is this happening? He is the mind doctor, he is asking us, right? So I told him that if you feel like crying, simply cry. What else to do? Right? Maybe probably some wound from the childhood, who knows? And after a few days he came and he said, Bhante, I cried. For last few days I have been crying like a baby. And now I released it, I feel much better, much lighter. Right? So those things are suppressed in us. Those things are stuck in us. We have to allow them to come to the surface and heal ourselves. Right? So those processes, it takes time. But it's worth doing. Now in your case, your own home has become a meditation center. Right? No work, nothing else to do, no distractions. Simply be. It's not easy. It's not easy. But you have to go through this process. And if you go through this process, you can discover yourself. You can create so much strength. Diving into that void, diving into that emptiness, that's the way. You can exercise, you can, be active, all those things you can support. But little by little you have to accept this. You have to dive into that feeling that you don't want to deal with. Right? Maybe become residential for some time. Do a residential retreat. Stay for some time. Different ways are there, but somehow, sooner or later, you have to develop the ability to deal with this. You have to develop the ability to go through this. That's the idea I have to give.
Report number 5. Dear Swamin Wahansa, Theruvan Saranai. When I was doing day-to-day activities, I always remember my mother as within few months I am moving to Australia, leaving her in Sri Lanka. My mother is aged 68 and I am really sad to leave her. I know one day I have to leave everyone. Scared about what will happen to her. Now also I am going to my mom's house only in weekend, but I know I can attend to her anytime. Because of this, I lost nearly 3 hours yesterday. Lots of future plans came to my mind related to this matter, and I lost focus on the present moment. Finally, I decided I never bother about things which are beyond my control. But on and off, these trouble my mind, seeking your guidance.
Yes, so such things are there. You make a decision, you have to do it, but still your mind doesn't want to accept it. Right? So these type of situations are there. You are torn apart between two choices. Right? So this very process of dealing with it, this very process of accepting this situation, it happens in meditation. And you feel like you lost 3 hours. But in other ways, you gained 3 hours. You meditated. Although it wasn't on the object that we are supposed to meditate, you had to go through that process in order to heal. And that healing is not finished. There is more healing to go through. And in our life, although we know as ultimate truth that we have to part from everybody, our mind is not ready to do that. There are a lot of regrets in our life. Sometimes you have to regret certain situation after many years. Right? You start regretting. Right? You think about your parents, you think about your friends and family. You try to do the best, but still you fail. Still you fail. This is more like out of your control. But although it's out of your control, your mind is not ready to accept it. Right? So how to deal with this? Yeah, that's the ability that you have to develop. We are not trying to impose a decision. Instead, you have to make your own best decision. Right? Once that decision is made, you shouldn't be regretting about other things. Right? So that's how it is. Right? Let's say taking care of your parents. Although some children are here, although they have the ability to go to their parents, they don't get that chance. Right? They don't want to do it probably. Or they have some other busyness in their life. Right? Maybe being far away, you feel like that won't work. But what to do? The life takes you there. That's the decision that you have to make. These things are out of control. So one day you have to deal with that situation. One day you have to, go through the troubling life experience. What can you do? That strength is improved in this practice. You get to see different aspects of the same problem. You get to see what your mind is telling. You get to see its reasoning. Right? You get to see all the justifications. Right? That very process you have to go through in order to heal. Right? So the fears are there, certain worries are there. This is our life. All of us, we have such things. Right? Don't think it's only you. That's not the case. Everyone, we have different fears, issues in our life. So this very practice is to develop the ability to deal with them. Right? You realize no matter whatever you do, sometimes things go wrong. Right? So you have to accept it. You have to develop the strength to face it. Right? Read the newspapers, watch news, see the things that are happening. Right? So how can you avoid that reality? Whether it's about your mother, whether it's about another person, whether it's about safety of somebody, how can you avoid that? So you can do your part, you can do the best, but the rest you have to leave it to the karma or leave it to the universe. It's out of your control. So in this practice, we do our best. We do justice to the situation. But certain parts, it's out of our control. Right? So that part we don't have to worry about. Although our mind worries, it's out of your control. You have to reason your mind, but still it will worry. So this practice will allow you to let go of that part. You do your best, then the rest is to the universe. Right? The universe will decide the rest. Right? That ability we have to create. Otherwise, we are always worrying about things that are out of our control. Most of our worries, they are about the things that are out of our control. Let's say someone sick. Right? What can you do? What can you do? Sickness you didn't invite. You got them the best treatment. But still, the sickness is there. Right? So it's out of your control. Something happened to somebody. You worry, you get depressed for so many years. But that thing that happened is out of your control. Now even like few weeks ago, I visited one of the places, and their son, probably at the age of 16 or 17, that type of age, died due to some brain infection. Right? So these people, after even 10 years, those parents, they are still suffering. They are still worrying about that situation. They are still blaming themselves. But what could they do? Could they do anything better? No. That's the reality. That's the karma. So that part we shouldn't be fighting. If you start fighting that part, it's a never-ending struggle. You do your best. You do the justice to the situation. And when you do your best, when you do justice to the situation, you can let go of such worries. I have done my best. The rest is up to the universe. What can you do? That acceptance is important. Otherwise, most of our worries are out of our control, right? If you don't do the things that are possible, if you don't do your part, then naturally the regret comes. But make sure, being in the present moment, you do what's best. You do your part. Leave the rest to the universe, right? That out of control, that part you can't touch. But what you can do and forget about it. That's the very idea of this practice. Most of the worries, regrets are about the part that is out of our control, right? So no point in worrying. So continue this practice. Time after time you do it, and with the strength of the practice you can let go of the parts that are out of your control. Whatever under your control, you can do your best. Do the justice to the situation. If you are aware, if you are mindful, then you know what to do. You know how to do your best. You know how to do justice to the situation. That's enough. That's all you can do. So that ability you have to improve with the practice. Don't think that this meditation was wasted. That's not the case. Instead, you have gone through a certain kind of a healing process. Even in future, you will have to go through such episodes.
Report number 6. Number 1. Why do I yawn, burp, tearing during meditation? Is it normal? If solutions comes while meditating, is it okay to write down them?
Right. The first part, maybe you are targeting me. I have been yawning, tearing up in these sessions, right? Yes, so it's an interesting question. Now, they have done this, some kind of research, and they say that when you are in a stressful situation, when you are feeling stress, when you feel excited or anxious, you should yawn forcefully, right? That's the trick, right? When you yawn forcefully, what happens is that as a reverse logic, the brain will be flooded with happy chemicals, right? You can try yawning, not like a simple yawn. You have to open your mouth large and yawn like forcefully. Shall we try once? All of us. That's that type of yawning, right? Once more. Forcefully you have to do. Forget about the surrounding people and simply do, right? That type of forceful yawning, they say that it will flood your brain with happy chemicals and, help you relieve that stressful situation, right? It's more like a backward logic. But in meditation, the forward logic happens. Your brain is naturally flooded with happy chemicals, and as a result, you yawn. It's not sleepiness, it's different. And the yawning, you feel like the mouth is going to burst, kind of like forceful yawn, it happens. And the eyes tearing up, right? All those are signs of relaxation, right? Your brain is flooded with happy chemicals, and as a result, these reactions happen in your body. So you have to know that it's a sign that the meditation is working, right? So just let it happen, and you feel after those sessions, like 10-15 minutes of that type of yawning or tearing up, all those things, you feel much more relaxed, right? So that's a sign that the brain is flooded with happy chemicals. So it's good to know even the reverse logic in order to understand these reactions in meditation. That's one thing. Then the other thing was about writing down
what the solutions what comes when you are meditating.
Yeah. If you start doing that, it's going to be a hell of a problem, right? You start noting down, then again you keep it aside and you meditate. Soon, within one minute or two, then you note down. This happens, right? So don't encourage such behaviors. It's true that, in meditation, certain solutions, they pop up into our mind. The mind is relaxed and naturally a solution arises. But you don't have to note it down right away. Right? If it's meant to be, it will stay in your memory. Right? Maybe after, when you return home, you will remember. This was a solution. If it doesn't meant to be, then you will forget. Right? That's how it works. Right? Don't try to, get caught in that process of, writing answers to your problems. That's not going to work. Instead, how the Dhamma works is, if it meant to be, then you will remember later. Then you can take actions. In meditation, don't try to encourage such behaviors. It will be a great disturbance to your practice. Right? So tell the thought, thank you for the idea, I will revisit you. Right? Even the problems say, thank you for the problem, but I will revisit you. Right? That ability you have to develop, and you realize things happen smoothly. Right? It's not the best, it's not the perfect thing to happen, but you are in a efficient process. Your efficiency is high. Right? It's not perfect. Don't try to do 100%. Instead, 80% is enough. Right? You know the 80-20 rule? Focus on 20% of matters and you will get 80% of results. If you try to achieve the remaining 20%, then you have to cover the remaining 80% of matters. It's not easy. 80% is enough? No, A+, right? That's enough. Yeah. Forget about the rest. Right? That ability we have to develop. Otherwise, trying to achieve perfect things won't do. It's not going to happen. Right? In this imperfect world, how to achieve perfection? It's not possible. So, be successful, be satisfied with 80%. That's enough. And when you find that balance, the whole process becomes like a hobby. You get the support from the meditation, you know what to do. Right? That very encouragement is enough to face our situations, the life situations.
Report number 7. Dear Sir, explain happiness in this materialistic world. If we go in search of money, we lose freedom, sacrifice the family time. Everything has an opportunity cost. May you attain Nibbana soon.
If we go in search of money, we lose freedom, sacrifice the family time. Everything has an opportunity cost. Yep, the opportunity cost. That's true. Right? So happiness is illusory in this world. Right? There's this very nice YouTube video, more like a documentary. It's about like a rat race in search of happiness. I can't recall the exact name. So it's like an animation movie, and the rats are racing, right? They are getting up in the morning, get ready, go to the train station, right? And there are so many crowded trains full of rats, right? So that way they try to achieve happiness. And there are like sales, 50% off, right? They go, they bite their heads off, trying to grab things, right? Still not happy. Then there is this bottle called absolute happiness, right? Absolute happiness. And they try that, still not happy, right? Then they try different drugs, still not happy. Finally, they end up with prescribed happiness, right? Diagnosed with a mental disease or something like that, right? So it's always about searching for money, searching for happiness. But it's a never-ending game, the rat race, right? So you can see the happiness in this world is illusory. Even last time we discussed a sutta, the original question was how to find happiness in this world. Right? That's the question that was asked from Buddha. Buddha says, he's saying about this practice, right? Understand the two ends and don't hold on to the middle. That's how you can find happiness, he says. It's more about, more like a fulfillment, not happiness, right? You are fulfilled. You don't need anything else. If you are not thirsty, then what's the use of water? Right? That's the very idea. Right? So through this practice, you can find that balance, that fulfillment in your life. Running the rat race, you will never get there. It's always like a fire. You put more and more things, the fire becomes stronger and stronger. That's how it works. Right? And whatever you do, whatever you spend your time, there's an opportunity cost. If you go after money, then you forget your family. Right? You go after fame, you forget your children. Right? That's how it is. So you have to find the proper balance in this life. You have to attend to your children. You have to attend to your family. But still you have to live. You have to earn your money. Right? So that balance is very important. There's this book, I think it's from Voltaire, and it says you must cultivate your garden. That's the quote, right? So it is about, this very idea. You have to focus on the real matters. If the family is important, then that's where you have to focus. The money is important, you have to focus on that as well. So you have to balance these things. That's why he says you must cultivate your own garden. You have to figure out the proper balance. Otherwise, searching for it, going after money, that's a great way to die sorrowful death. Think about those people, the most luxurious people in this world, the businessmen and people like that. Even Elon Musk, right? Are they happy? That dude is drugged up, He is like a machine working. He has a lot of money, but still no happiness. Right? So that's the real world. That's how it is. Right? So when you understand this illusory nature of the happiness or the rat race, you have to prioritize yourself. You have to put your effort towards the real things. And no matter whatever you focus, whatever you spend time with, there is always this opportunity cost. Right? Let's say you spend time with your family, but still there is this opportunity cost. Right? We say spending time in meditation, that's the lowest opportunity cost. Right? That's the best thing to do. Right? That's Buddha's view. He is not only focused on this life. He is focused on samsara. He says the best thing to do in this given moment is the practice. Right? That's the best thing to do to achieve the lowest opportunity cost. Right? You feel like that other things should be done. Of course, they should be done. You have to pay attention to your family. Of course, they should be done. You have to earn your money. Right? But always there's this opportunity cost. Even spending time with your family members, there's this opportunity cost of, not practicing. Right? So you can see it's a balance that you have to achieve. You have to live, you have to earn your money, you have to take care of your family, you have to meditate. All those things compare differently, all those things have different opportunity cost. Right? So Buddha says the best thing to do is meditate. He is considered about the entire samsara, the suffering that arises from that. The whole process of, dying and rebirth and all those things. So he says, this is what you have to do in this given moment. You do anything else, there's this opportunity cost, right? So you can't deny your life, no. You have the family, you have to earn money, you have the job, all those things are there. You have the practice as well. But you have to find a proper balance. That's what you have to do. Make sure that you reserve some time for your family. Make sure that you earn enough for your lifestyle. And make sure that you meditate as well. Right? All those things, if you balance, then you could find that fulfillment in this life.
Last report number 8. Dear Bhante, report on walking meditation. I started walking meditation on the carpet outside the meditation hall. I felt roughness of the mat and coldness as soon as touched the tile floor. I closely observed possible impulse when my feet in the air and on the floor. All I felt was roughness and coldness. I did not get any thoughts since I closely observed my feet. After some time, my legs were paining and stopped walking. Please advise if any to improve my practice. Much regards, Thero Saranai.
The way of practice is fine, but repetitively doing it is what I suggest. And aching pain in legs, it's true. We are not used to this. But when that happens, don't stop right away. Instead, simply continue with the process. The aching pain happens, but when you continue for a while, you realize it's no longer there. You have gone through that difficulty. So in this life, we can't live a painless life. That's not possible. Right? Even the painkillers, sometimes they don't work. Right? You think that everything will be covered by the painkillers. When it comes to certain illnesses, you can't do anything about it. Right? You have to endure the pain. Right? I remember one of the Sativasala facilitators, young person, but out of nowhere got some so difficult, can't bear type of a pain in the stomach. Right? For weeks, wasn't diagnosed and they couldn't give any painkillers because they are still studying. For weeks, that person had to go through that pain. Right? So that's the reality. The painkillers or the doctors, they can't help us always. Right? So in this practice, we try to at least develop the ability to face these things. Not extreme pain, but at least a little difficulty in our body, can we face it mindfully? A little headache, can you endure it without painkillers? A common cold, can you go through it without medicine? Probably you can take some herbal tea or honey and simply endure it. Right? So those things are important in this practice. Those things are important in this, experiment. The pain is a difficult thing to deal with. Pain we fear. But we have to figure out a way to face it. Right? Because one day this reality might come. Right? When that day comes, if you wait till that point, then it might be too late. Right? So you have to go through such experiences, and especially to develop your practice, you have to patiently endure such situations. I am not saying to, exhaust yourself, but simply continuing for 5 minutes won't do much. In the sitting session, continuing for 5 minutes without changing the posture. A common cold, bearing it without any chemicals won't do much harm to you. Right? So that ability you have to develop little by little. Right? There is no such thing as painless life. Life is always painful. Right? So that pain we have to endure. That pain we have to go through in the practice and develop that strength to face it. That is important. That is important. With that strength only you can continue for 1 hour walking, 1 hour sitting. That ability will come only by going through these difficult episodes.
Anyone wants to ask any questions?
Yeah, sometimes I feel like giving up this life and somehow joining the sasana and going down the meditative path. But then I feel that sometimes like I might not even attain nirvana, I might not attain the jhanic states, and that my life will be a failure down the line. So how do you advise on that?
All those things are thoughts, no? Right? Opinions, I'll do this, maybe I won't be successful. So don't think, right? Jump without thinking, that's the best way, right? Jump to the water, then you will realize whether you can swim or whether you will drown, right? So we will go, you can come with us, right? We will stay 10 days at Nissarana. And during those 10 days, you can figure out whether you can really do this. Right? Only for 10 days, no, nothing much to lose. Right? So that very effort is important. Otherwise, we are always thinking. I remember I used to go to a swimming class. The teacher, the coach, he is on the ground. We are in water and he is blowing whistles, telling all the instructions. Can't make head or tails of it. Right? You have to get into the water, no? We can't swim, that's why we went to the class, right? But he is on the ground, he is giving us instructions from there. That's not gonna work, right? So jump to the water, jump into the water. And that's the best way to learn. If you spend like 10 days, let's say, after spending 10 days, you realize, okay, I can do this somewhat. Probably not the whole confidence, but still you can do this, right? And there's this other retreat organizer, I think day before yesterday, she called me and she was saying some people are doubtful whether this is too strong for them. They are talking about a 7-day retreat. Some people are saying, I don't know whether it's too strong. Right? And some people are saying Nissarana is too strong. So you have to meditate elsewhere for a few years, then only come. But believe me, I directly went there. I have no experience in meditation. Right? I didn't know what Nissarana was when I went. Out of luck, I got to know about that place and I went, right, directly. No prior experiences with meditation. Right? So you don't know your capacity, you don't know your ability. In order to understand it, you simply have to jump.
And you know what's happening.
Yeah. Even I didn't know. Right? So all those things are thinking before jumping, no. I'm saying jump and then think. There's a difference, right? So it's a never-ending game. If you start thinking, doubting is the main obstacle for your practice. Let's say meditation, forget about your quest. Meditation, the main obstacle is doubting. Your meditation always moves forward, right? It doesn't have a reverse gear. It's always moving forward. When you doubt that experience, that's how you can reverse it. Right? So whatever happens in meditation, if you have no doubt, then you are always moving forward. That's why Buddha says, stream entry, there's no doubt. He can take care of himself. He has gotten rid of doubt. Right? So that's the very idea. So don't start, doubting, don't start worrying, don't start planning ahead. That's not the case. Instead, you go for 10 days. 10 days is not a huge thing, no. And when you spend 10 days, some people realize, hell no, I won't do this. Right? Some people say, okay, I have some potential. Right? Those opinions also, we don't give that much value. It's only first retreat, no, after 10 days you feel exhausted, natural. Right? Then again another 10 days you plan after few months. That way when you continue you realize it's not that difficult. It's our doubting mind that creates all these obstacles. Right? So try to come for a retreat. This is a good start actually. 3 days now. You are residential here, right? Yes, so that's a good start. Next time come to Nissarana. All the relaus are there, all the leeches are there. So that will be a nice experience. Right?
Bhante, I submitted the last report she read about walking meditation. Actually, my real issue is not the pain. Though I stated in that, because I was doing walking meditation for a long time, and basically I feel all those things, the roughness, coldness, the pusa in the air, all that is happening. But other than that, I couldn't see any other observations. Basically, very long time if I do walking meditation, sometimes certain thoughts are coming and going and all that is happening like in the breathing meditation. But if it is a short period, like say about half an hour or something like that, I used to mostly stick into my observation. So therefore, very less thoughts which are sort of really coming inside. But if it is a long time, like say 1 hour or something like that, time to time it goes and comes back and so on, it's happening. This is what I really want to know, that what else that I may experience, or whether my practice is correct. So what is your advice like basically?
Nothing else is there to experience. What you experience, if you can satisfied with it, it's the very Nibbana. But you already experienced in your walking the boredom, no new experiences, nothing comes, that type of feeling.
Yeah.
Consider it as Nibbana. If you can be satisfied with it, you are enlightened. If you can't be satisfied with it, and then you have more time to practice.
Because what I feel, and when I come to a conclusion, like, I mean, you can't say a conclusion really 100%, but it is kind of a focusing your mind onto a particular
all those things are learned knowledge, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, through the practice, I mean. So
when you come to the real practice, what you experience, consider it as Nibbana. Listen to today's talk. That's where today's focus is. And when you go search for something else, you are not satisfied with it, no? Right? That's where whole searching begins.
Yeah.
I am not satisfied with this situation. Even for the sake of meditation, I am not satisfied. Right? I need some better meditative experiences. That's the whole process.
Yeah. But my breathing meditation is entirely different. I mean, in the sense like,
whatever it is.
I really feel that it goes
Let it
deeper.
be breathing, let it be sitting, let it be daily practice.
Yeah.
You have to be satisfied with the present moment. And if you can be satisfied with that, then you are enlightened. You can't be satisfied, that means you need more practice. Yeah? Okay, I think we are past our time, probably even 15 minutes. No more questions, I suppose. So we can conclude this session.